Hey everybody, and welcome to the 3Gs, a replay commentary series brought to you by Clan Game 3 at clang3.net. I am Balance.
And I am Cardhu.
Today we're bringing you a ladder game on Neoplanet S. It is a TVZ, spawning in the lower left-hand corner as the Blue Zerg player, currently playing under an AKA, but this is, in fact, a former Night Elf player from Warcraft 3, currently playing for Team Envy, just had a great run at WCS America. It is mOOnGLaDe.
And spawning in the top right, as the Red Terran, he is known for his heavy macro-oriented style. He is Root Gaming's theognis.
Alright, so just as we're getting underway here, both the players just doing their basic openings, let's talk about TVZ on Neoplanet S. Go.
So I think Neoplanet S has three main characteristics that we should be focusing on. One, there's a lot of different ledges here, so it's going to be very, very good for Reapers. It's going to be very easy for them to jump in and out of the base to get some good scouting information, potentially provide some harassment. It's just really, really good given the lots of different surface area that the Zerg has to defend in order to thwart Reapers. The second thing is that there's going to be a bunch of different attack paths. If you notice, there's going to be a circle in the center of the map, which is kind of a double-edged sword for the Zerg. It provides a bunch of different counterattack paths, but at the same time, you also need to spread creep if you're going to do that in multiple directions. So that could also potentially provide some problems for mOOnGLaDe. The third thing is the lack of a ramp at the natural. So for any potential all-ins that mOOnGLaDe is going to do, he doesn't have to look up through the fog of war in order to do them. He has a direct vision path to theognis' natural, and so that's going to make all-ins just a little bit easier on this map.
Alright, so let's see what's going on in the game here just as we're getting started. We can see over on mOOnGLaDe's side, he has opted for a very standard opening, 15 hatch, followed by a spawning pool. No crazy early gas or anything like him, very standard opening. And then talking about what's going on the Terran side right now.
So theognis is going into a pretty Wings of Liberty-esque opening here. It's going to be a one barracks gasless expand. He's just put down the command center. He's going to follow this up with a supply depot and most likely 2 gases to follow this up. Now this can transition into a bunch of different things. This is a very, very flexible opening. In Wings of Liberty, the main thing that we saw transition from this was the standard Hellion Banshee play. But really, because of the flexibility of the tech, we could be seeing Widowmine drops. We could be seeing Hellion Banshee. We could even be seeing Hellbats with the taking of the 2 gases. So we'll have to see what theognis chooses here. It should be interesting.
Alright. So yeah, as you mentioned, we do see the 2 gases following up on theognis' side from the Terran player. So, so far, the game is opening up in a fairly standard fashion. Taking a quick look at the production tab, we do see that mOOnGLaDe is opting to make a quick 4 Zerglings. So we'll probably see a nice little poke from him here. This is a nice little move, just, doesn't sacrifice a whole lot, but he's going to go ahead and make the 4lings, just walk over to the other side of the map and see what's going on. And over on theognis' side, we do see that he has not made a bunker yet, so potentially we might end up into sort of an aggressive situation early on if mOOnGLaDe chooses to capitalize on that. How do you feel about the safety of theognis' position right now?
I don't like the fact that he doesn't have a bunker, but given kind of mOOnGLaDe's style, I wouldn't expect mOOnGLaDe to build more than these 4lings, so it's going to be safe in this game. Versus like an unknown Zerg, I would definitely prefer to have that bunker because, you could be getting, he could be making a bunch more Zerglings. Theognis does have a wall off, so that should be okay. But it's, losing that SCV, losing that Mule, and just kind of losing your first 3 Marines is going to be really annoying as a Terran player. So I think in this game it's okay, but for the most part, I definitely like a bunker.
Okay, so we see theognis maybe playing a little bit greedy there, but not being punished for it. So probably, nice decision there, nice decision making there from theognis. Over on mOOnGLaDe's side, as you noted, he's not opting for any kind of crazy aggression. We do see him droning very, very heavily now, just continuing to produce his queens. And now on theognis' side, we can sort of see him move into his tech. We do see the factory coming down as expected, but then a fairly quick starport follow up. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about how this is going to play out on theognis' side?
So yeah, like I was saying before, he's going to have a couple of different options because he's going into Hellions right now, and he's putting on the tech lab on the barracks. Most likely, it seems like he's going to be going into Hellion Banshee, but depending on what the next few units coming out of the factory are going to be, he could be going into something different. And it looks like he's just built 2 Widow Mines, so most likely he's going to be going into a Widow Mine drop. Based on the scouting information that theognis has, when the SCV went in, he didn't see any gas. At the same time, he's noticed that there's not a third yet, and it's already at the 7-minute mark, so he definitely wants to get in there and try to see what mOOnGLaDe's up to. Because those two things don't really make sense.
Right. So on the we do normally expect on the Zerg side in this matchup, with kind of a standard opening from the Zerg player to see a hatchery around perhaps 6 minutes. mOOnGLaDe has not done that, or at least not in the typical location, and so theognis, it's very important for him now to see what's up. On mOOnGLaDe's side, we do see 6 queens coming out, so just a very sort of safe, very sort of standard, safe opening from the Zerg player, except for the fact that we did see... Okay, so he has 4 gases that are all fully saturated that followed up from his 2-base style here before he actually takes his third, and 2 evolution capers coming down along with the baneling nest. So we might actually be seeing some kind of a quick 1-1 timing here from mOOnGLaDe, and has theognis spotted what's going on? He has not seen any of the gases, although he has seen double evo, so it's possible that theognis might be getting lured into sort of a false sense of security here, maybe thinking that without the gas, he's safe to take that quick third that we now see going down, but we might actually see a big attack coming here from mOOnGLaDe.
Yeah, he's sending over the 4 Marines at the top just to make sure that the third hatchery is actually going down, and the Widow Mines are going for a drop here, just to see if he can see anything. So the purpose of this is just to do a little bit of minor harassment. It's not necessarily game ending, but what he's trying to do is get a good look at the base of the Zerg, and also potentially do some damage.
So we see the Widow Mines coming down. Yeah, so that didn't really work out for theognis there. The Widow Mines do come down and are quickly dispatched by the Zerglings. He is going to be able to burrow these 2 Widow Mines at the natural expansion, but not a whole lot of damage done there. He's going to go ahead and pick up the 2 Widow Mines and just leave. We take a look at the worker skill tab, and it's just 2. So nicely thwarted there by mOOnGLaDe. However, as you mentioned, theognis does now know exactly what's going on. He's going to see the third going down late. He's going to see both the evolution chambers researching. He's going to see a whole lot of Zerglings, so he should have a pretty good idea of what's coming his way.
Yeah, he was able to scout the baneling nest, and it looks like mOOnGLaDe's original plan was to hit a 1-1 timing, but because of the scouting information that theognis now has, he has to hit before 1-1. So this is going to make this push significantly weaker, and we'll see if theognis is able to defend.
At the same time, we do see him not... Okay, so he's transferring his SUVs, not going crazy defense here, and mOOnGLaDe's going to break down the front right away, just get right in. So it looks like mOOnGLaDe's going to potentially do a ton of damage here. Easily broke the front. We haven't seen a ton of Widow Mine usage yet, although we do have a Widow Mine burrowing at the ramp right now. Giant Widow Mine hit from the Widow Mine on the ramp. We have a Captain 16-kill Widow Mine right there. And mOOnGLaDe is continuing to do a significant amount of damage. The Zerglings have not yet been cleaned up. And a quick look at the workers tab shows us that the workers killed is up to 21. So pretty significant damage done here by mOOnGLaDe. But it does not seem to be a killing blow. It looks like theognis is going to be able to hold here. Looking at the supplies, mOOnGLaDe is still slightly ahead. If we take a look at, if we take a look again at the workers killed, 22 now total. So pretty good attack here by mOOnGLaDe, but is he going to have a follow-up?
Yeah, so theognis is doing a little bit of a poke hit here, just to see what sort of follow-up mOOnGLaDe is going to come with. He has that medevac, so all of his units are going to be safe. Whoa, a huge hit from that Widow Mine.
26 kills. 26 kills.
And so it's really, really important for him to do that in order to see if mOOnGLaDe is going to be droning up behind that initial attack, or if he's going to be continuing to produce units. In that particular case, mOOnGLaDe decided to continue to produce units, and theognis was able to get a few key baneling cancels on his incoming units.
Right, I didn't quite catch the entire baneling kill thing that must have happened right here, but I caught just the tail end of it in my vision, and yes, it did look like theognis was able to cancel a bunch of those banelings, which is a very, very successful move. And we see theognis doing something very, very smart here. As you mentioned, mOOnGLaDe kind of in a tough position here. He either has to drone up to make up for sort of being behind an economy, or he has to make units to defend. Looks like he's opted to drone up. We did see a lot of drones being created just a minute ago. Now we see him making 32 Zerglings, but it's going to be a little bit too little too late. Looks like theognis is going to be able to take down the third with more Widow Mine aggression with all these Marines. mOOnGLaDe doesn't really have an answer. mOOnGLaDe looks to be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, the attack that mOOnGLaDe did, while it might not have looked very all-in-ish, because of the amount of damage that he did, it wasn't enough to really make up for the fact that he wasn't droning. So in effect, it was kind of all-in-ish, because once it fails, he's put in a similar position to what he is right now, where he doesn't know what to make. He can't really make attacking units because he can't kill theognis. and he also can't make drones because theognis has an army. So he's going to be in a very difficult position coming out right now.
Yep, and that was just another big Baneling explosion there by the Widowmine that is now up at 27 kills. Epic Widowmine this game. So yeah, great usage there by theognis. He's either getting some just really sick hits or he's really targeting these Widowmines because they've been very, very effective for him this game. You mentioned earlier just yet another Widowmine hit from the now 32 kill Widowmine, which is probably going to be cleaned up here, but it certainly has done its job this game. You mentioned earlier about the creep spread that these early 6 queens were supposed to provide for mOOnGLaDe. We don't actually see a whole ton of it going down this game, providing theognis with a lot of opportunity. We see theognis on the lower left-hand side, or sorry, lower right-hand corner of the map right now, coming into the main now with 3 full medevacs, which mOOnGLaDe was not really able to see because of the lack of creep spread. mOOnGLaDe just has, the 8 or 9 Zerglings sitting here ready to, potentially fend off of drops, but he's not prepared for something quite this big. Looks like theognis is going to come in with a huge force right here. There's not a whole lot that mOOnGLaDe can really do about it.
Yeah, theognis is going to be cleaning up creep at the same time while doing damage to the main. Right now, mOOnGLaDe just doesn't have enough units because all of his initial gas was spent on those Banelings to go for that early aggression. And so right now he has, looking at the unit tab, about 14 mutas, which isn't a whole lot for this stage of the game, and he only has 6 Banelings and 22 Zerglings. This is just not going to be very, very cost-effective against a huge Marine medevac mine army.
Yeah, so it's not, like we said, not looking terribly good for mOOnGLaDe there. He was able to successfully clean up that drop force, but again, a little late in the game as his main was totally decimated by the actual Marines before they died. And so now it looks like we're going to see a critical engagement coming here over in the center of the map. mOOnGLaDe's going to run in and see what he can get done, but we see nice splitting going on here by theognis, and mOOnGLaDe just knows that it is time to peace out. theognis has too much. So really interesting strategy there by mOOnGLaDe. Potentially a bit of a mind game, something maybe going on. Like I mentioned while it was happening, it looked like he was maybe trying to lure theognis into some sort of a false sense of security with those, just the 2 base, no gas, no third, sort of a curious set of building choices, maybe trying to get theognis to take that quick third, which theognis in fact did, and punish him for it. But there was just too sick of a hold there by theognis, and really mOOnGLaDe didn't have a follow-up.
Yeah, the Widowmine harassment that theognis did really gave him the scouting information necessary. As you mentioned, it was definitely a very, very strange opening by mOOnGLaDe. When theognis' initial SCV went in, he didn't see any gas. So kind of the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, well, he's going to be taking a quick third. But he also put his SCV at the third base, didn't see a third base, so he definitely needed to make sure he got into Glade's base to see what he was up to. And it did look like, and in fact, he was up to some shenanigans.
Yeah, so it was a nice sort of scouting win there from theognis. The sort of attempted trickery from mOOnGLaDe's side was sort of heavily thwarted by the fact that theognis went for that Widowmine drop, and as we noticed at the time, the Widowmine drop didn't really do any damage. It was a not very cost-effective Widowmine drop, but in the end, it proved to be incredibly useful just because of the scouting information they provide. theognis knew exactly what was up and was properly prepared for it, and then good unit control ends up winning the game. So yeah, nice build there from theognis. It was a cool sort of attempt there from mOOnGLaDe. But he got sort of pushed off his 1-1 timing. Didn't quite work out the way that he wanted, and theognis played the game very well. So cool game here.
Yeah, I think that was a huge thing that you just mentioned, the lack of the 1-1 during the attack. If you had noticed, mOOnGLaDe's upgrades were actually ahead of theognis's,
right.
So there was like a 5 to 10 second window where the Banelings and the Zerglings could have had an upgrade lead against the Marines, but because theognis was able to scout mOOnGLaDe's strategy, he had to go in earlier. Otherwise, mOOnGLaDe would have had way more than enough time to get out some Widow Mines, maybe even get out a tank. But basically just to put up enough defenses to make sure that mOOnGLaDe's attack didn't work. So he was definitely forced into something he didn't want to do because of those Widow Mines as well.
Right. All right. Well, good game here. Well played by both players. Good win there by theognis. As is often the case, excellent scouting, proves to be monumental in these kinds of close match games. So we'll wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for watching. We will have more for you soon. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus just due to summer vacations and people being all around, but we expect to have a lot more content for you in the near future. So thanks for tuning in. I am Balance.
And I am Cardhu. Thanks for watching, guys.